Hi. A lot of my ex-colleagues and friends have reached out to me over the last 3, 4 years after I left a corporate job and got into a entrepreneurship kind of role as a consultant, trainer, and a coach. And a lot of them reached out to me to ask for guidance that how do I go about it, why did I do it, etc. And I have shared with a couple of friends over the last couple of years some insights from my journey in the last 3, 4 years. So just to make life a little bit easier for people who are planning this kind of a decision, this kind of a step to move out of a cushy comfortable corporate job and get into an entrepreneurship stint, or maybe become part of the gig economy, become a freelancer. So I have a couple of questions which I have found useful to mull over before you take that jump, before you take that decision. So some of these questions are just what I'll just share with you right now. So the first question and the most important question is, why are you doing this? What are the reasons that are pushing you to do this? Are you doing it because you are really genuinely interested in becoming a freelancer? You believe that you no longer want to continue in the corporate in the comfort of a corporate job, and you want to do something on your own. You really want to strike out on your own. You see an opportunity, that's why you're doing it. Or are you just doing it because you're afraid you lose your job, or you're just bored of the politics, or whatever it is, right? There has to be a genuine hardcore reason why you are planning to do something like this, and that reason has to be a little bit higher, a little bit, I would say, deeper than just the fact that I'm tired of my job. The second thing that I'd like you to think about is, what is that unique offering that you are bringing to the table? Just while we're in a particular job, we tend to fancy our skills a lot more than probably a market would attach value to once we are out on our own. So very important for me to be clear that what is that offering I'm bringing to the table which is unique and customers would want to pay money for it, right? The third question is, I have decided I want to do this. I believe that I have a unique offering. So what is the market for it? Which kind of customers will buy it? Large customers, small customers? Who are the persona I will target? What kind of people am I going to go to with this offering? This is the third question to think about. The fourth is, whom do you compete with? Right? If you're getting into a market, even if you have a good skill and there is a market for it, but if it's an extremely crowded market, you might want to think about whether I want to do this, and if I do, then what am I going to do to differentiate myself? The next question, the fifth question, is that what is my network? As the often used cliche, your net worth is equal to your network. Now, while we are working in large companies, software companies or manufacturing companies or BFSI companies, what have you, uh, we often have a fantastic network, right? Customers, suppliers, colleagues, so many people whom we know. But what you will notice is, the moment you come out of that corporate, it is quite likely many of these people who were very, very easily available to you, who are always willing to help you, many of them may vanish. So you have to be very clear that what is your real network? Who are the people who will help you regardless of where you're working or what you are doing? So be clear about that. The next question to think about, and this is a very important one again: who will be my first three customers? Please don't get into some business unless you have clarity who will be your first three customers. The typical challenge that startups face, or entrepreneurs or freelancers face, is the first customer, who will always ask the question, who has done this with you before? Who have you brought results for? Where have you been able to be successful with this service offering? So unless you have a very good story, most customers would not like to be the first one to go with you. Therefore, it is important to have clarity before you take the entire plunge, that who are these first two or three customers who will give me business just because they trust me, and not because I already have a reference customer. So this is very important. The next aspect is to create a proper business plan. This business plan must take into consideration who will be my customers, what segments will I go after, whom will I target, how will I target them, what communication will I send to them, and so on and so forth. Don't just go out and hit the market. Create a solid business plan for the next 1 or 2 years, because that will give you clarity about what you need to do in order to capture the market. The ninth point is a very important point, which is about your financial situation. It's essential that before you take a leap to start your own business or to become an entrepreneur, you have already got your financial situation sorted to some extent. So you could maybe talk to a financial planner. There are dozens of them available in the market. You could talk to your banker and they'll happily do this for you. Do some sort of a financial planning which will tell you that with my current financial situation, am I in a position to take care of my family, my kids' education, their marriage, my own retirement? Because it is quite likely that once you start a business or start out of as an entrepreneur or a freelancer, for the first 1 or 2 or even sometimes even 3 years, you may not really succeed. Your business may not take off. You may not get the kind of cash flows that you're used to. As an employee of a company, you are used to getting a salary every month. And now, suddenly, if that source of income stops, are you in a position to continue supporting the needs of your family for the next 2 to 3 years? If the answer to that is a resounding yes, that's a green signal. If it is not, it's definitely a yellow signal and worth doing this analysis before you proceed. And finally, the ninth point is when we start out on our own, one of the challenges that we are going to face is that everything needs to be done by us, especially if you're a freelancer, right from the point of generating leads, following up on them, closing the sale, delivering the goods or services, invoicing for your services, following up for payment, doing the accounting, paying the taxes, end to end. So remember, it's not very easy for everybody to do all of this. Of course, there are multiple services available with other freelancers, but remember, it is your responsibility to ensure that everything gets done properly. So as you can imagine, get becoming an entrepreneur or a freelancer, joining the gig economy is not exactly a bed of roses. But if you are clear about the answers to these 9 questions, definitely there is a lot of wonderful things that one will experience as an entrepreneur or as a freelancer. Please do think about the answers to these questions before you take that plunge. I wish you all the best.